But the New York Times on Sunday did an article that basically said, you know, when Obama said, if you like your plan, nothing will change, well, everything has changed. 46% of people are having trouble paying health care costs now, up 10% from a year ago, because the deductibles went up, the co-pays went up. They can't see the doctor they used to see because he's in a different network. They go to get questions answered and they're talking to somebody reading a script in the Philippines. It's like, you know, your prostate cancer has been handled by Comcast now.
All right, folks. There's Bill Maher. Maybe it's something else I agree with them on. I know. You know, radical Islam I agree with them on, and maybe on Obamacare. Stephen Moore, Chief Economist for the Heritage Foundation, joins us. Good to see you as always,
Steve,
sir.
good to see you too.
You wrote a great piece, started at the Washington Times, the affordable care that isn't affordable.
We should start calling it the unaffordable.
Unaffordable care. And let's get to that. But also, you talk about, and this is I think this is so important, that if there's a contest for the biggest lie in Washington in the last 30 years, it is absolutely Barack Obama's claims on his health care plan.
Maybe that, or I did not have sexual relations with that one.
Yeah,
but you know, look, I looked at the statistics that came out this week on what's happened to the cost of Obamacare, and these were just buried in a report that didn't get much publicity. And government spending so far this year, Steve, is up 8%. That's a big increase with no inflation. But you know what's driving that? Health care costs. Medicaid and the Obamacare subsidies up 30% over the last year. 30%. It's what's causing the deficit to go through the roof. Is these and so when Obama said, remember, this won't raise the deficit
one
by
dime.
One dime.
Yeah.
He's right, not one dime. You know, about 10 billion.
And of course, that's the budgetary effect that people at home have kind of trouble relating to. But it's very important.
Except that it's driving up government spending and debt. And, you're right. People don't directly feel it, but what they do feel is the cost of their own health care.
And that's what I'm going to also get to, because the deductibles, which is something that they never mention, they being the Obama people, when they say sign up, $100 a month, the cost of a cell phone, but those huge deductibles, those huge premiums now that have gone up for people, and you can't have your same hospital, you can't keep your doctor, you can't keep. I mean, it is a disaster. But so few people right now actually have it because of the delays. You could delay. But when 80 million people lose their health care, whether it's this year or next year or after 2016 through delays, there's going to be a revolt in this country.
So I'll tell you another thing about the plan that a lot of people don't understand. So when the president keeps bragging about all these new people who now have health insurance thanks to the plan, the vast majority of those people have been put under Medicaid. Now, Medicaid is basically the health care program for poor people. It's a welfare program. And it's a lousy program. And a lot of major hospitals, a lot of major doctors, Mayo Clinic and stuff will not take Medicaid because they don't pay the bills. And so we're putting these folks into one of the worst health care delivery systems in the industrialized world. And I would add one other thing. So we have something like 5 million more people on Medicaid now. Why is that something we should be applauding? I mean, Medicaid, that's like saying we have 5 million people more on food stamps for welfare. Woo! I mean, we want to get people off of Medicaid, not on the Medicaid.
What about this this request by many top Senate and House Democrats to Obama to extend the deadline for signing up because people now this year are going to have to pay this penalty, and they don't want people to pay the penalty. Again, first of all, if he does it, it's another example of him just changing the law unilaterally. But they've delayed every painful part of implementing this policy.
You know, that's so true. And when are all these painful things going to go into effect?
After the presidential election.
Exactly, on November 7th, 2016. Because they realize if you start, imposing these penalties and these taxes on folks for the health care, there's going to be a revolt against it. So why not wait until after the election?
All right, now this judge's ruling in Texas with regard to Obama's executive order. How does this change Republican strategy? Do you feel do you feel it changes it at all?
I think that
it's a feather in their cap, certainly. As far as defunding the Obama executive order.
So the first immediate thing is what's going to happen with the funding of the Homeland Security. And look, my feeling is, Mr. President, this has been declared unconstitutional by a federal judge. Drop this thing. We'll pass the Homeland Security budget bill in 2 hours,
Right.
so nobody has to be laid off. So that's the solution to this. So longer term, I think Republicans have to basically say, look, we're going to do a 3-pronged immigration bill. We're going to seal the border. We're going to have a pro-growth immigration policy, so we get the immigrants that we need, and maybe at the end of that process, some of the immigrants who are here illegally, we can talk about changing their status, but not until those first 2 steps are in order.
Right.
President Obama has it exactly the wrong
Opposite.
order, and by the way, by doing that, Steve, he has completely undermined any chance of a political solution to the immigration crisis.
But isn't it incumbent upon the Republicans, and how often do you and I talk about what lousy communicators they are? This court decision was huge. If they had said it just the way you said it, that it's been deemed unconstitutional, there's no choice for the president than to drop this. But I know they're on vacation,
today,
but where the heck are they?
He said today we still think it's constitutional.
Yeah, I know, but where are the Republicans letting the public know that this has been found unconstitutional?
Right.
Shouldn't be you and me.
Well, that's what we're here for,
the
right?
Steve and Steve show. Where's Boehner? How about John and Mitch? The John and Mitch show.
No, I think that's exactly right.
Man,
this has been,
aggravating.
it's been put before the courts. Now it'll probably be, it's going to be appealed for sure. But look, as I read it, the president doesn't have the authority to make the law on immigration policy. I mean, it's that simple.
Great to see you as always. The great Stephen Moore, ladies and gentlemen, and we will talk to him again very, very soon. Up next, it's the Malzberg panel.